Well, with the recent revelations of Stadia going to finish out the year with up to 135 games, and we have 400 games set to come in 2021 and beyond, a lot of the videos here going forward are going to be filled with talking about all the games coming. With that, this video is no different. We have 6 games rated that we'll talk about, a few games launching next year with release dates, and one game that has been hiding that just came to light that I'm excited to see if it does come to Stadia. All that in this video, so make sure you hit that like button, hit that red subscribe button for more Stadia news as I keep you guys up to date on all the latest. So let's actually start with the recent new games just rated by Peggy. We have Mafia Definitive Edition, Mafia 2, and Mafia 3 Definitive. All 3 excellent titles that had been previously announced for Stadia already, and I had stopped predicting that they would come, but I think it's finally safe to say that all 3 games are probably releasing, and they won't be pro titles like I was expecting, but I do expect them to come to Stadia with hopefully a discount. So far, Mafia Definitive Edition has been getting good reviews since it launched just some months ago, so I'm looking forward to these titles, especially since I barely played the first one a long time ago. The other 2 titles rated here by Peggy are Watch Dogs 1 and 2, which come to no surprise as Ubisoft Plus is right around the corner, and with the subscription about to launch within sometime in the next 4 weeks, I expect actually much sooner, these 2 titles will be part of that lineup. With that, it's possible we get them right away before the launch, so a bit more cash can be made on the titles before it does launch on Ubisoft Plus. But either way, I'm very excited for the Mafia titles, and I'm a fan of the first Watch Dogs. This is a game that I played extensively back in the day, and either way, I'm very glad to see just more high quality games come to Stadia here very soon, and I should hopefully have coverage when they do. So we have another game rated for Stadia. This is a surprising one in Legends of Keepers. This is a title that came out this year, one that I heavily covered on my other channel. It's a unique, fun game. I poured a good dozen hours or so into this one. It's a game that's kind of similar to Darkest Dungeon, only in reverse. It's a dungeon management game featuring roguelike mechanics, only in this game you're playing the bad guy and you're stopping the heroes from completing the dungeon and taking its loot. You can collect and hire monsters, invest in traps, and try your best to really protect the dungeon itself. It's a unique game for sure. I liked it a lot, but it is in early access and it has rough around the edges. It still was a bit too easy for me, as well as I beat it on the highest difficulty about a dozen hours or so into the launch. So either way, this is a neat game. I am gonna definitely keep an eye on it, and it's one that we just don't have this type of title on Stadia, so of course I'll gladly take it, and one that I did have fun with. Of course, we'll see how the game has evolved since its early access launch earlier this year, and I'll keep you guys updated when we get more info. So this next game is 100% pure speculation, and this was just recently found, but it looks like it could have been hidden for potentially over a year. Now, in the terms of service on shadowofwar.com, the entire thing is filled with the word Stadia. Obviously, to me, this is too much of a coincidence, and maybe this is something to where they just didn't update the date and it was just recently put here, but either way, I'm gonna put this in the speculation pile. And I have to say, guys, if this title is truly coming, it's one that I didn't think of coming to Stadia, but this is potentially one of the better older ports that could come to the platform. It's a game that I personally have played from start to finish when it came out back at the end of 2017. It features that full Nemesis system that has you fighting the named orcs, who then, if you lose a battle, they can come back stronger, or they can remember your fight, or even if you kill some of them, they can come back from the dead to exact revenge. The Nemesis system is something that for some reason I don't see replicated in a lot of games, and yet every time I've played these Lord of the Rings games, I'm always very captivated by it, and the games are always extremely well rated. So this would be a title that if you've never experienced, you're really in for a treat. And it's a game that even today is still pretty good in terms of the visuals. It's very much aged well in my opinion, so I really do hope this one comes to Stadia, as I think it's a perfect adventure game for the platform. Either way, guys, stay tuned, and if any more news comes up on this, I'll of course let you guys know right away. Alright, these last two titles are confirmed games with launch dates set for 2021 to come to Stadia. We have Gods Will Fall from Deep Silver, the makers of the Metro Exodus franchise. This is a really curious game. Looks like a top-down action title with mechanics that will have you dodging, parrying, and reacting very quickly. Looks like the story is heavily featured here as it claims to be high stakes. Dark fantasy action game with 8 Celtic warriors who will make tense choices, and you'll be controlling and evolving the small clan of warriors that you have. I hope to see more of this title before it launches here on January 29th on Stadia. It looks intriguing, but it's a bit surprising of a game coming from Deep Silver. And the last title that we have here is Monster Energy Supercross 4, coming to Stadia on March 11th. Now, we covered number 3 on this channel, and I think this is officially the first sequel to a game that has launched on Stadia prior, as we did play and cover Monster Energy Supercross 3. So for that reason, I'm kind of like really happy as the platform itself and the game too. I have to say though, number 3 was a hard game and I really struggled to pick it up. I was not the only one, as I noticed other creators as well had the same issues. I hope this one isn't going to be as hard, but I doubt it. Either way, it's touting a completely revamped and new career mode that features a whole new skill tree. That 100% has my interest as I love career modes. There's an upgraded track editor and a new compound. So this one will be one that I do cover on the channel when it does launch in March. And I have to say, overall, I'm very happy that we are now getting release dates for a bevy of new titles for next year, like we do in January, February, March, and even April. So Stadia is really starting to look more and more consistent with the launches of big titles, as well as indie games as well. With that, guys, let me know which of these games I talked about today that you guys are most excited for, and if there's any titles that you guys have at least some sort of interest, or you don't have any at all. Hit that like button if you can, by the way. Subscribe for more news videos to be up to date with all the Stadia news. I'm Sunny, and like always, I'll catch you guys in the cloud.